Marketopia is a firm that's dedicated to helping clients grow in the IT services industry.
The marketing that you mentioned that you used, was it like a certain channel? Was it organic, public relations in terms of what you already have?
I would say all the above. The more ways you can engage and reach your audience, the more successful each will be in terms of results. We found success in in-person events like conferences. We found success in direct marketing, telemarketing.
Have you noticed any patterns in the strategies you use?
It's not as simple. People will say what works. And right now, I would tell you it's a combination of AI-enhanced digital marketing, AI-enhanced telemarketing working in concert. So you have to have good marketing going out there to build your brand awareness and make people apt to take the call.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Andres Figueira and I'm going to be your host for the day. This show is brought to you by the Global Talent Company, helping fast-growing teams hire exceptional remote talent from Argentina, South Africa, and beyond. We connect companies with world-class professionals who bring skill, reliability, and a global perspective to every role. And just for our listeners, we're offering an exclusive 10% discount on your first hire. All you need to do is visit globaltalent.co, click Start Hiring, and mention the podcast listener discount when we reach out. And today with me here, I am speaking with Terry Hedden, CEO of Marketopia, the premier marketing and lead generation agency for the IT channel. And with that said, Terry, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, man. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to give back a little something.
Yeah, so happy we can make it work. And Terry, just so that we can get and hit the ground running and put the audience a bit more in context, would you be able to tell us further about your background, how you came to become CEO of Marketopia, and what Marketopia is in your own words?
Yeah. Marketopia is a firm that's dedicated to selling, helping clients grow in the IT services industry. We work with technology companies like a ConnectWise or a Datto or something like that, and then a bunch of IT resellers all around the world. We have a pretty large team. We produce a lot of sales appointments. We teach them how to close them, and we, our mission in life is to really help people achieve their dreams. So that's what Marketopia does within the IT service industry.
And in terms of becoming the CEO of Marketopia, did you enter the company in this position, or how long have you been there working?
I was one of the founders. My partner and I founded the company about 13 years ago. It's been a wild ride, man. I've been in Inc. magazine 5 times and achieved some pretty extraordinary things. But the biggest ROI to us is the difference we make in the lives of our customers, helping them achieve their goals.
I love that. And then how many customers do you have with Marketopia?
We've worked with, some people have an ongoing relationship and some come with a project like a website or something like that. So we've worked with over 1,000 different IT service companies since our founding, and work with anywhere from, say, 50 to 150, 200 at once. It just depends on kind of the status of the world right now. Everything's about AI, and that's where we're seeing the real pockets of growth and vibrance in our community.
Yeah, no, I understand. Everybody wants to have something to do with AI, and if they don't have it already, they're just looking how to get their hands on it and understand it and wrap their head around every process that can be automated with it. It's crazy. I feel like I'm going crazy just checking out updates every day of what's new and just trying to keep up, because it really is a whole beast in and of itself. And Terry, in terms of, you mentioned that you have international clients, so Marketopia serves the whole world. It doesn't matter where the client is located.
Yeah, we used to have 2 offices in England serving EMEA, but what we found honestly is that the U.S. team could produce more for EMEA from Florida than we could from EMEA. Marketopia has employees around the world. We have a large LatAm community that is in our team. We have marketers, we have salespeople, we have business development representatives, project managers. We really believe in the international staffing model as a complement to AI, and thankfully empowered partially by AI. So we see it as a viable way of running a business. So you don't have to have physical offices in other countries anymore. You can start hiring people from wherever they are.
Amazing. Well, from the Global Talent Co., we know what that is, and we really appreciate the fact that you also know that it is something that works. Getting talent from Latin America or any other place, it really helps out build your team with this cultural diversity that allows it to become much more complete. And Terry, I'd also love to know in terms of, okay, when Marketopia began, how were you guys able to get your name out there and obtain the trust of the potential clients that you hadn't found yet?
Well, we're a pretty good marketing firm. It helps, right? You know, my partner and I both had backgrounds in growing companies in the technology industry. I had sold a couple. She had worked with some really world-class brands, so we brought that knowledge together. So I'd grown very quickly and sold businesses, and then she came from a vendor, a large distributor in the IT channel that knew how to grow and knew how to help other people grow as well. So we brought that together, came up with some pretty unique business approaches, and we were able to grow extremely quickly. We were Inc. 232 with 2,070% 3-year growth. To put it in perspective, so we were 242nd, I think, fastest growing company in the United States. So it worked. It still's working. Now it's a little harder to grow in terms of revenue due to the cost compression that AI brings, but we're still seeing results and success and helping other people achieve their goals.
Wow, that is so cool. And in terms of the marketing that you mentioned that you used, was it like a certain channel? Was it organic, public relations in terms of what you already had? Like, could you maybe explain more about that?
I would say all the above. Marketopia believes that the more ways you can engage and reach your audience, the more successful each will be in terms of results. I think we found success in in-person events like conferences. We found success in direct marketing, telemarketing. I think if you had to quantify it, I think telemarketing has played a very large role in that. We're able to produce digital marketing results in the form of marketing qualified leads and then convert those into sales qualified leads with the help of an appointment setter.
And then Marketopia, what it does is that it helps and enables IT companies to obtain leads, and then those leads become a sales for that technology that the company might be creating or the software that they have. And do you have any certain strategy that you can share with us that is what allows you to find these leads for the companies?
That's changed over time as
Okay.
techniques and have evolved. I think at this point right now, we have a pretty amazing AI stack, not only finding people in market and reaching them effectively with digital marketing and then telemarketing. And then we've got a very, very cool tool called MS Prospector that basically allows you to uncover hidden opportunities within your prospects. So you might have an appointment for one thing, but you walk in with 101 things to talk about and possibly sell. And so we've really leaned into AI as basically a way to get better, faster, and cheaper, better in terms of
Okay.
results, faster in terms of delivery, and then less expensive. We have our costs have gone down probably 60-70% over the last few years as we've really leaned into AI and used it to become more cost effective for people. It's made a difference, especially in people, smaller companies, people in more emerging markets. The cost of having the best is more affordable than it's ever been. In fact, right now we've had a leap in terms of productivity that's allowed us to have a 50% reduction in our fees this starting in May 1. So
Wow.
it's really, we're seeing major results there, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come. We're able to produce more, better, and
Hmm.
cheaper than we ever have.
Well, that's the magic of AI, no? And Terry, in terms of also, I know you mentioned that you serve customers all around the world, that your team members are all around the world as well. But is there any requisite or any type of requirement that a customer needs to have in order to be able to work well with you guys besides being an IT company and having to sell something? Like, is there anything else you guys look for to make sure it's a proper fit?
I think from our perspective, the most successful are the ones that that are determined to do what it takes to achieve their goals. At the end of the day, growth is not easy. Not only is oftentimes the case that what got you where you are is not going to get you where you're trying to go. So that's something we have to overcome for a lot of people. So they have to be committed to growing individually, growing as a company, and then growing from a revenue perspective. They are probably going to have to do things a different way if they want to achieve a different result. So that's hard for some people to do. Also, it's expensive. If you want to dabble and drabble in what it is you're trying to achieve, understand that the probability of success drops considerably versus doing what it takes. So
Exactly.
when you go to someone like us, it's not about how cheap can you do it. It's if I want to achieve my goals, what's the best way to do it? And then have what we call a growth consultant architect a strategy that maximizes the ROI based on the level of commitment that you have to growing. Not everyone can afford to achieve their dreams. Some people have to, you know, have a shorter term goal, have a speed bump or a waypoint on their way to wherever it is they're trying to achieve. And that's quite frankly very common for us. So a
Mm-hmm.
customer has a goal of growing 50% a year. They can only afford to do what it takes to grow 10% a year. So we start there and then build on it.
Okay, okay. And with that growth, they're able to then have more expenses that lead to further growth. And it's just like a positive retro feedback loop are created. That's nice. That's nice. And also another question I do have, Terry, is I understand that you mentioned you help your customers get more sales. They're in the IT space, and every customer is different. That is something that I know. But have you noticed any patterns in the strategies you use to gain sales for them that work really well? Any type of channel that serves this type of industry or anything like that?
My perspective is really remained remarkably consistent over the last 12 years, and that is that it's not as simple as everyone would like it to be. And people will say what works, and right now I would tell you it's a combination of AI enhanced digital marketing, AI enhanced telemarketing working in concert. So you have to have good marketing going out there to build your brand awareness and make people apt to take the call. And then you have to call people, especially in B2B where we operate. People don't buy on emails very often, but it does warm them up a little bit so that when we do call, we're able to secure, a appointment that leads to a sale. So to me, that's what it's all about right now. Any business that's not leaning into AI and using it to improve what it is it does is missing out on the opportunity and frankly is becoming irrelevant one day at a time. To be successful now, to be on par with your competition, you've got to hire a great team of people, whether it's internal or external, and you have to empower them with an AI tool set that's specific to their role. And the combination gives people a competitive advantage. And one thing, honestly, in your world, costs. Make sure that you keep your costs where they need to be. It's a global competition now, especially in the era of COVID. You can't come in with Manhattan pricing and expect to achieve, to be purchased by the masses. You have to be price competitive, and to me, that's AI and nearshore talent where it makes sense, or offshore talent, depending on your I guess willingness to deal with the pros and cons of both.
And also, Terry, what does like the typical relationship between the client and Marketopia look like? Do you guys embed yourselves in the client's company and then look for sales and help them out, or is it more of like a third party relationship?
The most successful relationships are definitely open and honest, trust-based relationships. We're certainly in a business where there's a lot of angst about it. Marketing to some people is the wizard and, the Wizard of Oz kind of thing, the wizard behind the screen. The most successful clients are the ones that heed advice, that I guess sort of do what it takes and trust the people that they've hired to help them make
Okay.
sure that they're doing what it takes, including holding themselves accountable. A lot of the time in our industry and marketing in general, you're the victim of the people downstream from you. So you could be the best marketing firm in the world. You could generate more leads, more sale, more appointments than anyone else in the history of that company. But if the sales team doesn't convert, you end up failing at the end anyway, right? So we've had
Okay.
more than one instance where we've been extremely successful, beat KPIs, achieved more than we projected, only to get fired 12 months later when the customer's sales team failed to convert. And so we find that those deeper relationships result in more open-mindedness and willingness to maybe try something new.
Okay.
And for a lot of people in our industry, at least, it's moving from a sales process that was honed on word of mouth leads and adopt to one that's a lot more based on, leads with strangers, that you have to earn every step up the ladder. You can't
Of course.
just show up and win. You've got to earn it. You got to earn the right to propose. You got to earn the right to win.
I get it. Yeah, you have to like nurture this potential buyer and customer and take them through the whole funnel until they're ready to be sold to. And Terry, when you mentioned that, yeah, with companies that sometimes you guys exceed expectations, find so many leads, but their sales team was not up to the task. Is this something that Marketopia then provides as a distinct service? Is it just generating leads, and if the customer wants it, you can also help them sell, or do you guys not get into that much? Because that's something that I'm still confused about.
Yeah. Well, we were launched as a digital agency, and then we added tele appointment setting. And then we realized that it's still not enough. So we kept going down that path. At this point, we offer sales training, certifications. We offer a peer group of salespeople to work together. We offer sales closers as a service, where we'll be an overlay on your sales team. We offer proposals and SLAs and contracts and marketing collateral that you can use to do your pitch. But we don't get on an airplane. We don't drive and fly to the customer's office to help them close deals. At this point, we really try to help them from afar. At some point, the business has to be able to do their part, right? Which is usually closing the deal and then taking care of the customer. Yeah, but so we do as much as we can, and frankly, I wish I could do more. If I could clone myself and could be a salesperson for all of our customers, that'd be wonderful. But it's not realistic, and so our customers tend to close deals on their own.
Okay. Now I understand. And it's like you should be able to close deals on your own if it's your product and your technology that you're
You're
selling.
sitting
You're
with
just,
the prospect. Yeah, the
uh-huh.
hard part tends to be getting on the phone with a prospect, right? So, or phone or in person. So that's where we take the flag and run with it.
Okay, understood. And Terry, can you give us an example or tell us the story of a customer that went really well, that led to very many sales, and that you guys use your strategy in a way that really sets Marketopia apart from the rest of the competition?
Yeah, I'll give you one. There was a customer, a prospect who came to visit us. He had just lost his largest customer and was facing a very dark future. And so the downside was he was not in a position to really go big, but he was in a position to be humble and listen and learn. And so start off with some very honest conversations, helping him from a strategic basis get himself back into a better cash position. And then we started to launch campaigns designed to help him grow. And when he came to our office, I could have bought his IT company for $1. Matter of fact, he probably would have paid me to take it. And I think it was 2.5 years later, he had a multi-7-figure exit. He drank the Kool-Aid. He implemented the techniques. I guess you could say, really embraced the training, embraced the humility required to adapt and pivot, and he achieved extraordinary things. Even to this day, I remember I got a text from him last week that the payments continue to come in for him. He ended up selling for even more than he expected due to a better than expected earnout, because once you get the system going and the leads generating, the revenue comes behind that, and then the profit comes behind the revenue. So that's an example of one that started off very dark, end of his road. We were a Hail Mary for him at the end of the game.
Oh
And
my
he
goodness.
scored a touchdown and continues to do so years later. So that's a good example. And there's a lot, different level. Success is all relative, right? To some people, getting a new customer is mind blowing because they haven't got a new customer in 9 months. To some, it's achieving so many sales appointments, bringing on so many clients that you're forced to hire faster than you've ever had to hire, and you start dealing with the pains of growth. Both are success from our perspective. What the key to us is, at the end of the day, we want our clients to achieve their goals and dreams, and we want them to be better for hiring us. So we come in and do the best we can to deliver on our promise, to get the doors open for them so they can close the door and start achieving the growth in their business that is required to achieve their ultimate goals of exiting or just a profit goal.
Wow, that's amazing. And there's nothing that I love more than a story with a happy ending. So it's so nice that you're still in contact with this client and that it's still going well for them and they're still seeing revenue and everything like that. It shows a lot to how the process really works. And Terry, also another quick question we do have is in terms of how you guys have seen that looking for leads for different companies happens. Have you noticed any patterns in the regions of where that company is and the technology they sell that you feel is harder to obtain leads for sales than others? Like, is there any type of pattern there that you could maybe tell us about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're seeing it now more than ever. In the last 6 to 12 months, we've seen in our industry people wanting to sell the things that they used to sell, but the customers wanting to buy something else. And there's really two categories of service that we've seen accelerate in terms of demand, and that is AI, and then what we call growth solutions. So people that are trying to grow their business, selling them services and AI technologies that help them do that. We see customers that embrace those two as growing many times faster than those that don't. The key to me is to evolve with the market, to be willing to be flexible, to evolve with demand, sell what people want to buy as a way of getting in the door so you can cross sell what it is you want to sell. And so, embrace that. You can't be so stuck in the mud and don't evolve your product that you are only focused on what it is you want to sell. You've got to be willing to help people buy what they need and what they want. And so that's one the advice that I would give, a technology company is trying to grow is to embrace change, embrace the market, go where the market's going, and you don't have to do it alone. There are people that will help you from a service perspective. There are people that will help you from a sales and marketing perspective. So you don't have to, you don't have to make huge investments to evolve and grow.
And Terry, before I do like close up the episode or anything like that, I have one final question for you. And that is, as the CEO of Marketopia, and now that we are already in the midst of Q2 for this year, what are your goals towards the end of 2026? What would you like to have accomplished with Marketopia that you haven't been able to do so far?
Marketopia is in an industry of incredible change, right? And marketing has been really impacted by AI, both positively and negatively.
Mm-hmm.
One of my goals right now is that we're banking the plane as hard as we can bank toward better, faster, cheaper.
Okay.
We really want our team to understand that evolution is required, that becoming the best means you have to take that approach of embracing change and doing things differently. So we're really, really, really pushing the team right now to get as good as we can be so that we can be as competitive as we can be, so that we can win as much as we can win and not be stuck in the past, be open to change and willing to do it because we're in an industry that is being affected by AI. And if evolution is going to mean that you're a dinosaur, you're a dodo bird at the end of the day, if you don't make that change. So we're really pushing our team to make the changes that we need to make to become the most AI forward, AI innovative, and AI results magnifying firm out there, such that if you want to grow and you're a technology company of all shapes and sizes, there's only one company you should go to, and that's Marketopia, because you're going to get the best wisdom, guiding the best technologies, guiding the best techniques to produce the best results. And so that's what I would say is that our focus is right now, and we're seeing great things. Even had 2 meetings today that I thought the future's bright.
I'm so glad to hear what you want to do, but more so, even after hearing your whole story and the 13 years of experience you've had with Marketopia and what it has become, I feel that you see it all so clearly that I have no doubt that you're going to be able to do this pivot with Marketopia and make sure you become the best and most efficient AI agency that anybody could look for in order to obtain leads and sales. So I really commend you for that, Terry, and I really hope that you are able to achieve those goals. But with that said, thank you very much, man, for hopping on here with us, telling us your story, explaining us what Marketopia is, and for just providing your insights. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Andres. Appreciate the opportunity.
No problem at all. It has been a pleasure. And to anybody who is here with us and listening, we really appreciate you as well for hopping on to listen to the different personalities that we're talking to and for learning about the different industries that we are seeing. So with that said, have a good one.